but I just feel like I sound weird. Like my intro, it sounds too formal, and that's not me. Once I get to the Superman review, I know I'll just flow because I am known. Yeah, I know. Gosh, damn educators and their educational system and their wisdom. Hashtag what up all my players? Wise words of rich. Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe. I just need to talk. Okay, I just need to talk. I am not what I'm going to say, it's what I say. I'm thinking about what I just said, and I'm like, ooh, that doesn't sound like. And then I stop going forward because I'm thinking about the past. But the past is the past, and the past is not my concern. Thomas Shelby. It's the GOAT. Yup. Right here. Right now. That guy is a loose cannon. Okay. Okay, I'm on a fucking time crunch. I just got to do it. Fear is the mind killer. Shout out Frank Herbert. Pride is the enemy of learning, and fear is the enemy of progress. That's how he is all day, every day. He has no empty on that gas tank. Okay. You're a fucking winner. Fuck. Okay. Bang! I'm a fucking winner. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heroes Havens podcast. My name is Jacob Hernandez, and I have decided to make a podcast. I have decided to make this podcast to take a gap in everyone's day, whether it's to lock in or de-stress. If you're at work and just getting after it or on the treadmill, or if you simply just need an hour or more to kind of listen to someone else and get away from everything you got going on. That's kind of what my goal and purpose of this podcast is. I would like to talk about movie reviews and comics, video games, anything and everything that's kind of on my mind. Most of it will be in that realm. And I'm going to briefly explain why my opinion matters, because I'm just another person. My opinion matters because I've been reading comics and watching movies since I was a little one. I know that's kind of how most of us are, but I feel I never lost that spark. I feel like I always kept watching movies and I always kept reading the comics, and I for sure have never stopped playing the video games. So I guess, my opinion really doesn't matter. It's just another opinion. I am known to have some egregious hot takes, but if you remember me by one thing, just remember I'm not wrong. I'm just early. Everyone eventually comes to my side. They just need to break the little barrier. And maybe that's what I'm here for, is to shatter that glass for you. So I also want to kind of explain who I am and what I do. And so I'm going to kind of tell you about what we got going on today. So today I feel like it's very important for me to establish my favorite superheroes. I've broken it down to 3 DC heroes and 3 Marvel superheroes, just so you can kind of get a baseline and understand kind of where I stand, because I'm a big believer your favorite superhero says a lot about you. Definitely defines who you are and how you move in life. I'm a very, very big believer of that. I'm also going to be reviewing Superman. I watched that a couple nights ago. Gonna review Superman, talk about my expectations that I have for James Gunn and the DCU, and what I think of everything so far. So I kind of have two different lists for the same topic. And then I also want to start a series where at the end of every single podcast, I'm going to be recommending a comic series for maybe you to get out and read, because I feel it's very important for the comic industry to kind of keep the physical reading alive. And if you read online or through Marvel Unlimited, I 100% support and love that. I think that's amazing. I just think it's also good for the businesses and the printing presses to kind of keep this form of art alive, because I feel it's very important to me. So let's get into it. Starting with my favorite superhero. I actually don't know if it's in frame or not, but it's going to be Richard Rider, Nova. He's right here. Richard Rider is the GOAT. He is justice. He is the space police. It's not just on an Earth level. He's always among the stars, going from planet to planet, galaxy to galaxy, upholding whatever it is that needs to be upheld. And after the Annihilation run, he is the only Nova Corps member left. So from a legion of over thousands of Nova Corps officers, Richard Rider is the only one left, and he's still going. And I just think his never give up attitude is admirable and part of what makes me who I am today. And as far as never giving up, I already said it, but you can't talk about never giving up without bringing up Spider-Man. Spider-Man is elite. If you are a Batman person, you're wrong. Spider-Man is the GOAT, the absolute GOAT. The things that Peter Parker goes through and misses out on because he has to do Spider-Man things is so admirable. He can't hold a relationship. He can't pay his bills. He can't have any form of friendships because Spider-Man always comes first because of everyone's famous quote, Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. And he knows that he has to because nobody else will. And I just think that's absolutely the greatest thing ever. You will never tell me Batman is better than Spider-Man. You would be wrong. And for my number 3 superhero, it's going to be Daredevil. Daredevil holds a special place in my heart. Matt Murdock, his battles with God and the devil, and he feels he can do so much harm. Why would God put all this harm inside him to bring justice? And his battles with his inner battles are just so, when they're written well, they are written well. And I think we all kind of struggle with that in the sense of doing the right thing and doing the easy thing. I think those are very important things that Matt goes through. And another thing that kind of relates me to him and why he holds a special place in my heart is because I am blind as well. So me and Matt, we are locked in. So that's going to be my Marvel favorite superheroes. My DC favorite superheroes, number 1, I can actually say this might be recency bias. Kyle Rayner is elite ball knowledge. Kyle Rayner is the GOAT of all GOATs. And the idea of a Green Lantern member that came from being an artist first is absolutely insane. I don't know why it wasn't done earlier. Him creating Gundams and mechs and using anime references is just the coolest thing in the world. And then I also found out reading the Circle of Fire that Kyle Rayner started the trope, which I'm so glad this trope is done. This was a terrible trope. But Kyle Rayner was the first superhero to have his girlfriend butchered up and put inside a fridge. I think that's pretty cool, just knowing that that's where it started and that he was the first. Super glad that's done, though. That's terrible. But he's just the best Green Lantern. He defeated Parallax. He's the White Lantern. These are a lot of spoilers. Sorry. But Kyle Rayner is just elite ball knowledge. I just stumbled upon him like a year ago, but I have loved and enjoyed every second of my rabbit hole of digging who he is and what he does. And as far as number 2 goes, I'm going to go the Flash, Wally West. Wally West is by far the greatest DC superhero as far as writing goes. There's no better written hero than Wally West. Wally West is the Flash. Barry Allen is who we all think of. If you watch the shows, I think that's totally fair. Grant Gustin is one of the best actors out there. That is Barry Allen. That is the Flash. But when you get to that next level of superheroes, Wally West just is peak writing. Everything about him and the sacrifices he makes, and then fighting death. Like, he ran so fast, he died and he came back. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't want to spoil too much. I just said a lot. Wally West is elite ball knowledge, and he is the GOAT. He is the Flash. There's not close. Miles Morales being Spider-Man is such a fair take, and I would agree with you, but being the better Spider-Man. But Peter Parker's my Spider-Man. Wally West is the Flash. There is no debate. There is no Wally West is the Flash. If you say Barry Allen, if you say Jay Garrick, if you say Zoom, Impulse, you're wrong. Reverse Flash. I don't know why you would say Zoom or Reverse Flash, but you're wrong. Number 3, I have Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes being this Mexican kid struggling in a world where he doesn't feel fit in. He feels everyone is against him and his people, and they are just trying to make a living in this world. I think it's such an important topic going on in now's day and age. And as he's going through those struggles, he gets the scarab on his back, which is the first scarab to ever, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I don't know the word. I don't know why it starts with an I. I'm sorry. Let me know in the comments. But he becomes an alien in the superhero world as well. And I think him struggling to fit in and find his place in everything is such beautiful symmetry. And Jaime Reyes is always trying to do the right thing while still managing being a person. And I think it's a really important balance kind of in comics, because you could have a well-written character, but if they can't have an off-screen run, it's kind of subpar to me personally. And those are, I think, my 3 favorites. Honorable mentions being DC Green Arrow. Green Arrow is elite. The Bat Family is elite. Tim Drake will always be my Robin. He's probably the worst written Robin, but he's the GOAT. Can't tell me otherwise. So from here, I would like to talk about Superman. Superman by James Gunn. I am going to break it into 2 reviews. I'm going to do a non-spoiler review, and then I would like to do a spoiler review. So I will let the spoiler review happen when we get there. I just said it a couple times, but this is not it. This will be non-spoiler. If I had to rate it 1 through 10, I would give it a 5. The James Gunn Superman movie is almost everything wrong with Superman. I think it doesn't encapsulate the character at all. I think James Gunn was trying to go down a certain route that just doesn't work for Superman. I think... Let me start with some positives. I don't want to just come off and hate this movie. The fight scenes in this movie are amazing. The fight scenes, the videography, cinematography, it's elite. It is fantastic. I think James Gunn did a beautiful job showing that superhero movies are meant to look like comics. They're meant to be colorful. They're meant to pop, and you're supposed to feel emotions when you just see things. And I think that was done so well, and I think Marvel needs to 100% steal that. This grayscaling we've been going through is just not working, but they look amazing. The fights look great, phenomenal. You feel every punch. You feel when they go through the wall, and when Superman comes down and cannonballs, like, you feel that. Another thing I would like to talk about is the casting. The casting in this movie was absolutely fantastic. I think David Corenswet is Superman. I don't think he was giving the right opportunities to perform to the level that we deserve as Superman in the beginning of a new universe. And then we have Lois Lane, played by Rachel Brosnahan. Sorry about that. These are all first-time actors for me, actually. So Rachel Brosnahan, Lois Lane, absolutely crushed it. The scene, it was in the trailers, but the scene where she grills Clark and just really tears Superman apart, but she just so headstrong about it. It's beautiful. I don't think they ever made Lois Lane feel weak. Lois Lane felt so strong and it's such an important figure for women and to feel empowered and that they can do things, because lately in media it's kind of been adrift. Lois Lane is just such a great representation of all the things that women and men can do, and even though you don't have powers, you can still hold so much weight. And I think that's such Rachel Brosnahan absolutely killed it. The two real stars of the movie were Jimmy Olsen and Guy Gardner. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner was one of the best decisions ever made. I know James Gunn did it strictly because they were friends, and he's like, I trust you. I've seen your work. We can do this together. Nathan Fillion absolutely killed it. Any scene that had Guy Gardner, all eyes were on Guy Gardner. You cannot help but be encapsulated by everything that he was saying and doing and his emotions and just his little one-liners. You're on the team. It's just, they hold so much weight. And I think it's so important for every superhero character to feel that. And I feel I didn't get that with Superman. So Nathan Fillion, hats off to you. We'll see you in the awards later. Jimmy Olsen, and that was played by Skylar Gisondo. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize. You will be a household name. The future for you, not only as Jimmy Olsen and in the DCU, your future looks so promising. I hope you have the right agent. I hope you're under the right management team. I would love to see you in so many other projects, so many independent films. I think you absolutely smoked it. You were 100% just this whiz kid, go get 'em player, the Rizzler. I think every time you were on the camera, all eyes were on Jimmy Olsen, waiting for what Jimmy Olsen was going to say. Everything was so hilarious, and I am so happy with the casting of this movie. The casting of this movie, next to none, was done so well, and it breaks my heart how lackluster this movie is. If I could describe this movie in one sentence, this is everything a James Gunn movie is. Low stakes, way too much comedy, rewriting characters for what you want them to be versus what they should be. Now, is that a me thing? Maybe. But I just think Superman should be a symbol of hope. And this is my spoiler warning. I will wait a second. I would probably leave here if you have not seen Superman yet. 3, 2, 1. Superman loses every single fight in the movie. Every single fight. It blows my mind. Before we even get to the movie, it says 3 hours ago, Superman lost. He loses before we get there. That is the worst decision I have ever seen in my life. Every time you see Superman, he loses. He only won 2 fights against the big monster and against the engineer when Krypto came or when the Justice Gang came. Superman is supposed to be a symbol of hope, and when the little kids in the I want to say Baravia, I don't remember the country, but when the little kids make this flag of Superman as all of their people are being murdered and their towns being ran through because their country's about to get wiped out, and Superman doesn't even show up. How the hell are we gonna have Superman be the symbol of hope and he loses? What hope is there? Oh my God, it's so bad. It blows my mind how bad of a decision it is to have Superman lose every single fight. Oh, I've said it 10 times, but I can't wrap my head around it. The Superman is the strongest being on this planet, and he loses. And I'm not saying strength wins everything, but come on, give the guy something. Crypto was amazing. Crypto was awesome. I'm not a big fan of James Gunn always using animals in the way he does, but in this movie it worked. Everything with Crypto worked. I just feel like he was a crutch. He was genuinely a part of Superman, and I know he is in the comics, but Superman can at least defend himself. This guy needed Crypto for everything. I'm starting to think Crypto was Superman, and Superman is just Clark. Like, Superman could have done more work and more good as Clark. If you see what like Lois does throughout the movie is like, Lois accomplished more than what Superman did, and it was so stressful. It's so stressful for me being a fan, and for this being the first sign of the DCU, and you just dropped the ball so hard. You just dropped the ball so hard. And speaking of dropping the ball hard, I haven't talked about it yet. Lex Luthor. This is Jesse Eisenberg all over again. This is not Lex Luthor. This is some deranged fan who is obsessed with Superman, who's got enough money to make things happen. In the comic books, Lex is Superman's greatest rival because he's smart. He never had the power, so he created the power. He never had all these things that Superman could do, so he created it. The only time Lex Luthor felt smart was when he was yelling out numbers and he was controlling I don't know if that was supposed to be Bizarro, but when he was controlling Ultraman and fighting Superman. But I feel like that's just a fan. That's just like me watching a Conor McGregor fight. I'm telling you what Conor's going to do, and you're just a fan. Like, it was so crazy. I mean, even then, when all the science is being broken down, there's the guy with the mustache. Forgive me if he has a name. He killed it. But he was smarter than Lex. Lex was never the smartest person in the room. And if you want to give me, Lex created a pocket dimension, they said he didn't try to create a pocket dimension. It's like, it blows my mind. Like, yeah, he stabilized it. And I'm not saying Lex isn't smart, but this Lex Luthor is no Lex Luthor. It's just a man with money who hired other smart people to capitalize his accident. Nothing felt thought through. Lex Luthor is always known to be having a plan for Superman, setting Superman up for failure, and Lex would always have a backup plan. Lex felt so lost in this film. It was so, it irks me. It genuinely hurts me how excited I was for this movie, for it to drop the ball this hard. It breaks my heart. Another thing I would like to talk about was Hot Girl. Isabel Merced, my buddy Evan's future wife. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, she was just couldn't care less. She was just there for the paycheck. She doesn't have any lines, and when she does, she's some edgy teenage girl. In the scene where she's just screaming down the hall, what was that? What? I don't understand any direction we have for some of these characters. There are talks of Mr. Terrific getting his own show. I actually don't understand why. There was no depth to his character. He was just a walking computer, not much character inside him. And I'm not too educated on Mr. Terrific as far as the comics go, so maybe that's on me. But I mean, I think that even speaks more to this movie and just like, what are we doing with some of these characters? Are they just there to fill up space? Because at that point, I feel like we could have just gone down the Green Lantern route with Lanterns, the show coming out with Jason, I think it's Jason Pierre-Paul, and that's not right. I'm so sorry. I'm going to check that. I apologize. But with Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, like, let's just use the Lanterns. Why are we bringing in these characters? They had no direction. Really didn't feel well thought out. And for a first in a universe starting movie, it sucks. It genuinely hurts me as a comic fan, as a movie fan, for us to not be able to have hope, right? I mean, Superman, like that was such a smart idea for the symbol of hope to be the first movie and give you hope for this future series, and it was just lost. I don't know where it was lost, but it was lost. I don't want to talk about plot holes because I just feel after sitting here listening to myself and thinking about it, it just feels so minuscule. And I really want this lack of universe to kind of hold weight. Metropolis doesn't feel like Metropolis. The city doesn't feel like the city. How am I supposed to have hope for the universe? I don't know. I don't know. Another big gripe I have is, why is John Kent alive? There are several characters who are dead in every universe, in every comic run, and they will always stay dead. And that is Uncle Ben and John Kent. I'm blanking on the third. I know I said three. That's wow. Okay. My ball knowledge is off right now. But John Kent, why is he alive? He gives Superman the meaning to be Superman. He gives him the push, the everything to like teach Superman who he is. And I mean, maybe that's why they kind of made this Superman feel like a joke. He's very comedy oriented, and I appreciate that actually. I really do like this fresh take of Superman being a human. He's more human than alien in this movie, and I think that was a breath of fresh air, and that's really, really badass. Really cool. But you have to give Superman his whys. You can't tell me this is a Superman that's been established for 3 years, and then so what has he done in those last 3 years? What has he accomplished? Why do the people that believe in Superman believe in Superman? Because all you've told me so far is in 3 years, he's kind of just been there. He hasn't shown up. I don't know. I am at a loss for words. Superman didn't feel like hope. And John Kent, I feel, needed to give him that character development, because that's always been what John Kent is that push for Superman to be greater and to help everyone and to understand that you could be the greatest person alive, but you can't save everyone, but that's why you need to try. Another big problem I have, and this will be the last problem I have with the Superman movie, but why did they make the decision to have Jor-El say those things? Why did Superman's parents say that? I am so confused with what was going on. I don't know what made them think what they think. And I mean, maybe that could be explained in the next movie, I hope, but it just doesn't make sense for me to have them send Kal-El to conquer Earth. What? That's never been how his parents have worked, and it just blows my mind. Why were they bad people? Like, I mean, that's how we have to take it. And then Mr. Terrific even confirms, like, that is what they said. He said the people that did confirm it, they wouldn't confirm it if it wasn't true. Superman's parents said for Kal-El to conquer Earth. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, it bugs me at my core. But I guess, I don't know. I think let's talk about James Gunn's DCU. Superman 5 out of 10. It looked beautiful. The casting is amazing. The acting is amazing. The writing is just the plot points, they don't make sense to me. I think you should watch it. I think you should have your own opinion on it. Let me know what you think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I have tried hard to not even talk to my friends about it. I have not talked to or watched any reviews about it. These are all my own opinions. I don't know what the public consensus is. let me know if I'm on track or if I'm just off the deep end. James Gunn. I have a hate relationship with James Gunn. I think that's not true. I have a love-hate relationship with James Gunn. I think James Gunn does a good job of creating environments and scenes for his characters to grow and mature. And then I think in every single movie, he drops the ball and just misses the point of his own film entirely. And I mean, his best work, Guardians 3, the Rocket Raccoon scenes are just some of the best actual writing out there. It's so well done. But everything outside of Rocket is awful. You could just turn off the movie. It's doesn't make sense. And I think James Gunn is the right person for the DC universe. I think he has respect for his craft and his characters, and he wants these. I mean, nobody wants a film to fail. I don't want a film to fail, let alone a universe. I love comic books. I think James Gunn has that same passion that I do. I'm really grateful he has chosen other people to make some other movies. So like, what do we got next for the DC universe? So we have Peacemaker season 2 in chronological order. We have Peacemaker season 2, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. We have the Lanterns TV show, and then we have Clayface. On a scale of 1 to 10 for how excited I am, it's got to be at an 8. It's got to be at an 8 or a 9. So brief going back a little bit. When I talked about my favorite superheroes and I said Kyle Rayner, before that, it was always Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan was always my number one. He is the absolute GOAT. And then I learned about Kyle Rayner. But just the Green Lantern Corps in general, and maybe this is the same reason why I like Nova, Richard Rider, because the similarities are Space Police, the best of what they do. Maybe that's what I like. I just like space adventures with aliens and creatures and protecting everyone, risking everything, giving up everything to protect everyone every day. I love that. But going in order, Peacemaker season 2, I mean, if you've seen season 1, I think you're going to get the same thing in season 2, but we're just adding more characters, more depth to it. And I think that's so incredibly good. Peacemaker season 1 was amazing. Fantastic. I'm going to start my rewatch here pretty soon now that I've seen DCU. Going back again, Creature Commandos was an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It was phenomenal. And I wish the creature side, I wish the comedic side would stay with the comedic characters. And I don't think Superman needed this much levels of humor. I think he just needed to be a strong, someone you can rely on. And then moving forward after that, we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, played by Millie Alcock, Rhaenyra Targaryen, House Targaryen forever. I think Kara Danvers, and I've already kind of gone over spoiler review, but when you see Kara at the end, Carol Danvers, I'm sorry. When you see her at the end, I don't know. I know she's always been a little rogue. Calling Superman a bitch was interesting. I don't know if I have an opinion whether I love or hate it yet. The costume designs were great. I think that was another, just James Gunn absolutely nailed it on the nose. She looked great. Superman looked great. Guy Gardner looked great. The Justice Gang, they all did amazing. I'm hopeful. I mean, we've confirmed we got Jason Momoa playing Lobo. Well overdue for Lobo to be put into live action. I think Jason Momoa is the right person for it. I think my hope for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is that it does not ride the back of Lobo. Everyone knows about Lobo, not much know. Everyone knows of Lobo, not much know about Lobo. But we all love him. And I think Supergirl needs to shine as Supergirl. You need to feel this hope. Obviously, it's going to be a coming-of-age story of her maturing, which is, I feel, what Superman lacks. I think she needs to pick up where Superman left off. And I think everything that's wrong with this movie needs to be done again in Supergirl correctly. I think she needs to be the hope. She needs to mature. She needs to go through everything that Superman hasn't gone through and kind of let go of that teenage, roguish party attitude. Then we have The Lanterns, written by Chris Mundy and directed by James Hawes. True Detective Season 1 is the greatest one-season show ever written. If you disagree with me, you are wrong. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson playing their characters and the story that is written and the world that Chris Mundy had created is so good. And when you get two space rangers going on a crime scene, dark, gritty detective show, so it's gonna be taking place on Earth, from what I've read, taking place on Earth. There will have a Green Lantern Corps aspect to it, but through and through, they said it is going to be a buddy cop detective show with an experienced, retired Hal Jordan and a Jon Stewart who has just taken the mantle. I mean, if you read comics at all, watch True Detective, you can almost not fail this. This is set up for success. Alley-oop. There's my buddy Frank. He's giving me the thumbs up. He's paying my bills. He doesn't know he's paying for this right now. Thank you, buddy. He's not paying for this. But how can you drop this? It's so good. I mean, it gives me chills and goosebumps thinking about it. One of my favorite shows with some of my favorite characters in my favorite style of television. Dark, gritty mystery. Jake Hernandez, right there. Shove it together. Amazing. And then we have Clayface, which is being written and directed by Mike Flanagan. And if I know you'll get to know me, but for those who know me and they know how I feel about Mike Flanagan, The Haunting of Hill House is the greatest horror show ever. Ever. And I know what these two things that I just said about one season shows and just the greatest, it holds weight. And I can't tell you why it holds weight. You just need to watch it. The car scene in Haunting of Hill House is the scariest thing I have ever watched in my entire life. And we're using Clayface and making a movie about the character of Clayface, but in a body dysmorphic aspect. Sign me up. I mean, sign me up. I am so excited for the DCU moving forward. And it's so crazy to me, even saying that out loud after what I just watched with Superman, but knowing that the DCU is in other hands and James Gunn is just writing the blueprint. I really think if James Gunn has this plan that he has inside his head, but lets other people execute it, I think it can be done phenomenally. I think right now, with what is just paved in front of us, I mean, Marvel needs to get it together. They absolutely need to get a grip and really remember who they are and why they do what they're doing. Obviously, Marvel hasn't had any competition, and maybe that's why, maybe that's why they fell off, because they wrote a story and we were all reading it because we had nothing else to read. But there's some good things coming. There are some great things coming for the DCU, and I just really hope James Gunn figures it out. His plans are 2 live action movies a year, 2 HBO Max shows. It's no longer Max. It is back to HBO Max. 2 live action, 2 HBO Max shows, and 1 animated series a year. Give it to me. I'm in. I'm in. James Gunn has sparked a lot in us, and I hope he does it well. I really do. No comic book fan, no movie fan wants to see it fail. And wrapping it up, I would like to introduce a segment, what I do to end the episode to kind of support businesses, like I said, support your local comic shop, maybe card shop, and really keep the comic industry alive. But the comic that I would like to introduce to you guys for this first episode, and I feel it's only fitting, is Absolute Superman. Absolute Superman is in the Absolute universe, and it's a different take on every comic. So maybe it's not the best place to start if you're looking for true to nature Superman details. But Absolute Superman is so well written, and it just comes from this alien who lands on Earth, doesn't understand anything, can't speak the language that the humans speak, but he doesn't go to Earth as a baby. He goes as a teenager. He has a relationship with his mother and his father, and they instill in him that he needs to follow his heart and always do good. I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Superman being taught by his parents to help, because it's there is no why other than it's the right thing to do, to help others. I think that is the major thing that Superman lacked in this movie. The Absolute Universe does it so well. And spoiler alert for the comics, when you get to Ma and Pa Kent, when you get to the Kents, I mean, they pick up where the ball is left. For months, they can't speak to Clark, who is, I guess, just known as the boy. That's what John Kent calls him. He just calls him the boy. But like, they don't talk for months, but they're feeding this alien that lands in their farm, and they do it because it's right. And I think the Absolute Universe is fantastic. Superman has powers, but they're not the same Superman powers as you'd think. And most of his powers actually come from his suit. His suit has alien life as well, created by his parents. And Absolute Superman, I cannot recommend it enough. It is the perfect place to kind of figure out the symbol of hope and what hope is, and just to always remember to do the right thing. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to me yap and get kind of worked up over everything. In the future, I plan on being a little less nerves. This is a first time shoot. So I want to thank you. If you took the time to listen to this through and through, I appreciate you. I plan on doing this once a week, and thank you. And it's weird to say, but be like Superman. Have hope. Be hope. Be the hope for others. Do good. Not because you get anything out of it, just because it's the right thing to do.